video, we'll dive into what each position is and what they do, from the fast and tactical positions to the big and powerful ones. So let's get right into it. A rugby league team takes a field with 13 players, each with specific and general jobs, and these positions fall into two categories: forwards and backs. Forwards are at the front line of the game, and backs are more strategic and tactical. Each position has a number from 1 to 13, which is usually the number that the player that fills that position wears, and we're going to cover each position in order from the furthest back to the very front. Starting off with the backs. Positions numbered 1 to 7 are essential for a solid team. These 7 players are typically smaller and more agile, with an emphasis on pace, agility, and exceptional ball handling skills. They're the ones who exploit the space created by the forwards, weaving through defenses and setting up scoring opportunities. Their ability to think quickly, make precise passes, and execute dazzling footwork is what separates a good backline from a great one. Firstly, we have the fullback. First and foremost, the fullback acts as the team's last line of defense, carrying the number 1. They position themselves behind the main defensive line and are crucial in stopping any players who break through the defense. Their defensive duties involve chasing down and tackling opponents who get past the initial defenders, as well as catching kicks from the opposing team. Offensively, they typically play a smaller role. They might move up to join the attack alongside teammates, creating a larger attack. Next, we have the subcategory of 3/4. In a game, there are 4 3/4, the left and right centers and the left and right wingers. Firstly, the wingers, or wings. They usually wear the numbers 2 and 5, and they're typically the team's fastest players, using their speed to chase down try-scoring opportunities. When the other team has the ball, the wingers are tasked with marking their opposite winger and catching and returning kicks. Wingers also often fall back to support the fullback. Next, the centers. They're usually positioned just inside the wingers and are the second closest players to the touchline. They also carry the numbers 3 and 4. In attack, their main role is to attack the edges of the field and keep that threat out there to keep the opposition spread out. The centers need to be some of the fastest players on the field, working with their wingers to try and slip past the defense. Again, in defense, they don't do much besides marking the opposite center and can help the wingers and fullback. The next subcategory is the half pair. The closest backs from the front are the 2 halves. These positions are usually the playmakers, which means they need the best ball handling and kicking skills out of everyone. Wearing number 6, the 5'8", also known as the standoff, is a skilled passer and a runner with impressive agility. They often act as the second receiver because their role in attack is to receive the ball after the halfback and then launch offensive plays. They need good passing and decision-making skills, along with solid kicking skills for plays. A bit ahead of the 5'8", is the halfback, or scrum half. The last of the backs, these are numbered 7. They play a pretty big role in directing the team's play, for the most part. Now, with all the backs covered, let's move up to the forwards. Forwards. The smaller half of the field, the forwards, are the 6 players who tend to be bigger and stronger than the backs, and who rely on power more than these precise playmaking skills. They are the front line in offense and defense, and who give the protection for the playmakers. And forwards also tend to take scrums. Firstly, we're covering the back row of the forwards. Numbers 11 and 12 are the left and right second row forwards. These second rows are pretty similar to the props, just a bit quicker to take a wider position. They also coordinate with the wingers and centers for strategies and to fill gaps in defense to get better coverage. In offense, they have similar jobs to the props, trying to break through defensive lines and taking the ball back to a playmaker. The lock is the final back row forward, also called the loose forward, wearing the number 13. Some teams choose to have a third prop instead of a lock, while other teams might use a more skillful position who can act as another playmaker. While definitely not as good of a playmaker as the halves usually, they can use their power to misdirect and to act as a front rower, which leads us onto the front row. Next, the props. The left and right props, which we've mentioned multiple times now, numbers 8 and 10, are usually the largest and heaviest on a team. On offense, their size and strength means that they usually push into the defensive line as a battering ram or simply to gain meters. The hooker. Carrying the number 9, they're in the center of the front row and work with the props. The name reflects their historic job of using their foot to hook the ball after it's fed into a scrum. They also typically take on crucial dummy half role. The term dummy half refers to the player who waits near the tackle, receives the ball after it's played, and then decides to pass, run with it, or kick it. This role is often associated with the hooker, but anybody can take it, which is usually what happens when the hooker is tackled. This dual responsibility makes them need to be accurate passers, with skills often comparable to halfbacks without the focus on kicking, and the strategies. I hope this video gives you the knowledge that will help you understand and enjoy the game more the next time you see it. Feel free to comment on any important pieces of information that I might have missed or gotten wrong, or anything else that might be insightful for new fans. If you'd like to find out what the 5 most revolutionary rule changes in the NRL are, click here, and I'm sure you haven't thought about how revolutionary some of these were. If you liked the video, then consider subscribing to see more of these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.